Okay, January 31st, 2024. Today was overall a shorter day. It felt like a shorter day. I mainly just did some editing in the morning, and then class was pretty normal. I think the only things that stood out today were, one, I got to finally go back to Yodobashi and practice some piano on the electric piano. After meeting the violinist yesterday, I feel very motivated to make sure I brush up on my skills and not let them drop, because if I don't play for, I don't know, maybe 2 to 3 days, I do feel like my fingers somewhat regress just a little bit. And I want to make sure that I'm the best I can be as of this moment when I do play with another musician. So I felt this like huge urge to practice, but I also I scheduled a meeting with a friend, just a video call, a little bit too early perhaps. So I managed to only practice for 20 minutes, but it was a good solid 20 minutes. So that's the second thing, is the call with my friend. It's actually more of like a mutual friend, someone I'm becoming more friends with right now. I got a chance to meet them in California because of our mutual friend. They're from Japan, so it's cool to make more friends that are actually from Japan. The purpose of the call was two things. One, we are planning on meeting up soon, so we just wanted to talk about what we're gonna do and everything. And then two, it was supposed to be like a language sort of practice session. I say we did more of the first than the latter because I did not do enough Japanese speaking, but she got to speak a lot of English, so that's definitely good for her. Her English is already really good, but next time I will do a lot better with trying to stick to Japanese. It's so easy to struggle and be slow and like just want to say what you want to say in the language you know, especially when the other person can understand it. The call definitely went on for a lot longer than I expected. It's like 3 hours and 30 minutes or so, but it was fun getting to know someone that I've met before but haven't really gotten to know. And I think the lesson from here is a little bit twofold. Number one, from the past, when my friend asked if I wanted to hang out, it wasn't a friend that I normally hung out with too much, maybe just a few times a year, but I decided to say yes because I like forming and building on connections that I have already. And that day when we did hang out last year, it was certainly like not an easy way to hang out. Like I already did events, had to pick someone up from the airport, was tired, but I went for it anyways. And I met my new friend that I had a 3-hour phone call with today. So it goes to show that those opportunities to form new connections that you could have easily turned down can eventually turn into other things, like making a new friend that you can hang out with in Japan, and someone else, and someone who can help you with the language. She was definitely very, very like nice and generous with just saying like, if I need help with homework, just let her know. So I'm appreciative of that. But every day I'm definitely being reminded how difficult it is to learn a new language and how much more I need to work on it. So hopefully in my next few journal entries, hopefully, I will be talking about that a bit more. And I did mention how there was like 2 lessons. The second lesson is somewhat learned in the conversation I had. I feel like it was a longer conversation, primarily because we just had questions for each other and wanted to hear each other's stories a bit more. That was definitely one of the topics we were talking about. It was just that, like, when we were talking about our younger days, we didn't really have as much interest or the desire to really get to know others, hear their stories, and learn about them and their strengths and what they're about, basically. But now that we are older, it just feels like we do that a lot more. And I think that's what makes it a lot easier to have conversations with people who have sort of come to that stage in their lives where they really are interested in other people and want to learn about them and want to ask them questions and really talk, you know? So that is the second lesson. Essentially, me realizing that some of the best conversations I have with people are people who are actually truly interested in me and what I like, what I want to do, all that stuff. And for me, in general, I tend to be interested in everyone. So I ask a lot of questions to people in general. And I'm like, I don't know, I'm just genuinely curious, like a naturally curious person. So it makes for a good combo when the other person is also curious and a good conversation. Of course, it's sort of a lesson that I suppose I can't do too much about because other people are either curious or they're not. But I suppose the lesson is more so like realizing that certain people are that way, and when I find someone who is, to try to strengthen those connections more. But it's a short one for today. Tomorrow will definitely be a bit more packed. Okay, that's all. Catch you guys in the next one.